Hi Scorpio, it's Kajora Lovely with your general reading for February 2019. Please keep in mind this is a general reading, so it may not resonate entirely with everyone. You can also check out my videos for your rising and moon sign as well. So let's see what's going on with Scorpio for February 2019. Okay, so where you are now is the Ten of Swords and Judgment in reverse. So this means that something could be coming to an ending, because when the Ten of Swords is in reverse, usually it means that you can't really deny it. You're acknowledging it and you're dealing with kind of ending. You know, it's not a literal death, but if it, say it were, it would be like you're burying the body, you know, somebody died, you've had the funeral, you're kind of tidying everything up now. You're more in the, okay, let's move through this because we're acknowledging whatever it is, this chapter is soon coming to an end. And the Judgment card in reverse can sometimes mean there's a realization, an epiphany, a spiritual awakening that is coming or is meant to come that you might be blocking. Let me ask why you're blocking it. Although some of you may know. Whoa. Well, this kind of flows, so we'll read it both ways. So this is the Ace of Swords. It could be that you've had a lack of victory in the past. Because it did, well, whatever. So anyway, it could be a victory, but it could also be a lack of victory, which I think would make more sense in the sense that you're blocking something. You're blocking some type of awakening because of something that's happened in the past, I want to say, where you felt like you weren't successful and maybe where you were betrayed. So what I'm hearing is trust that the answer is with you now. So in a way, okay, you can think of it this way, if it helps. You already know the answer to that which you seek. Sometimes the spirits talk like this. Trust that you already know it, because what I'm getting is when it comes, it'll be like you're realizing something that you already knew. So it may feel like a duh moment more than anything else, but it feels like you're kind of accessing old information to yourself, if that makes sense. So it's something that it's not an epiphany in the sense of you're like, oh my God, how have I never known that? But more of, oh, right. But there is something that is still new coming for you, I feel, looking at that card. And another way to read the Ace of Swords as well is it can be that there was something new that was supposed to come that either didn't come or didn't come the way that you wanted. And so there could be some sadness there. But ultimately I feel like this rooster wants to give you some good news. So I will say that. But you've got some swords in here. Got 4 swords cards total. So swords are not necessarily bad. I know some people get a little spooked about those. They represent the air sign, the element of air. So it can represent sort of air signs or air sign qualities. Air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So those of you who have October birthdays, or are more cuspy, you might have some of those elements, which could be why. It also could just mean you're in your head. It can be actual conflict sometimes, but it can also just be that there's a lot of stuff going on mentally. Because you have an ending. You're also, the base of where you're at, you're looking for new opportunities with the Jack of Spades. You're looking to move forward. But what's also influencing you right now is the King of Cups. Starting to think that this card just like wants attention because he's in almost every reading. Showed up a lot in December and is all over the place this month. So I feel the theme for everyone is emotional mastery. Now, This also relates to your element of water. So it's also Scorpio, it's Cancer, and it's Pisces. So the King of Cups, I often see as, of course, I just see sea captain. But it's also about, okay, they're talking about something else now. I'm hearing mastering your own fate. Oh, I get it. You are the captain of your own fate. Aboard your own ship called Fate. Someone is very cheesy tonight, but it's okay. So I think it's, because it's also about you're in touch with your emotions, but I feel like it's, riding your own emotional roller coaster. So this could be where you are right now. That's more what I'm getting with that. So it could be you're riding your own emotional seas at the moment and you're at the helm of your own ship going, what the fuck? That's what it feels like more than anything else. But ultimately, honestly, I feel like you'll be okay. You've navigated these seas before. Just gonna keep going with the sea metaphors right now. As for what's crowning you, you've got the Jack of Pentacles. So as you can see, this is a student. This is focusing on what you want. So this, I think, is a really great card to get. It means that there's something that you want to create and you're building. You're making the processes you need to move forward. You might be studying something, learning something new, or putting in the groundwork, the footwork. You're doing a bunch of, taking a bunch of steps to build toward what you want. Take it steady, but slowly. That's sort of the earth energy mantra, because this is, the pentacles are earth, which also relates to the signs of Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So it's very methodical, moving things forward. So with that, I also get like eyes on the prize. So when it comes to building what you want, go for it. Do it. They're now mixing up phrases. They're saying make any means necessary. I think they mean by any means necessary. Which, make any means necessary. With that, I would almost take it as any form of income that is sustainable is acceptable. So take that as you will for however it applies. Whatever form of income is sustainable is acceptable. And once again, this is the base, the reason of the reading. You are looking for new opportunities. You're looking for where you want to dive in, what you want to go toward next. These are very similar. They're both jacks. So they're also messengers of good news and things that are to come. In the near future, this is another huge theme. This is also your card, the death card for Scorpio. It's not a literal death. It's metaphorical. But it's really, I see the death card as being about transformation and change. As Scorpios, you're not afraid to go into the underworld. That's kind of your domain, where you're like, let's go deep and let's talk and let's work things out. And if your Venus is in Scorpio, then when it comes to love, you like want to have conversations and talk about stuff. And, wherever Scorpio is in your chart, you can always like look online to see that kind of stuff. That usually means in that aspect, like say your Mercury, which relates how you communicate, is in Scorpio, then you would probably enjoy having conversations and also talking about it. But something else about the throat chakra there. Anyway, it's something that you're not entirely afraid of healing, going over wounds, like not necessarily to like break off scabs or anything like that, but more to discuss them, heal them, and help people with them too. But anyway, got off track, sorry. You're going through a transformation. Now, it's also the Four of Swords, so it can also mean going through a period of rest. So it can also be both, rest and transformation, taking some time to rest so you can have a transformation. So however that applies to you. I just want to pull one more card on that because I'm curious what this transformation is for or about. Things that make you feel defensive or under attack. It's the Seven of Wands. So I would say it could be going into what your triggers are, maybe working on some of those old patterns, old thought patterns, especially for those of you who are of the year of the pig. You can always Google it to see what year it is, because we're coming into that this month on early February with Chinese New Year, starting with the new moon around the 4th, 5th. So it's going to be very similar. There's both jacks. So with that, I also get like eyes on the prize. So when it comes to building what you want, go for it. Do it. For those of you who you're the pig like me, it's signaling the end of a cycle, but it's also a huge transformational change. And this last year may have felt like you were kind of going through it. So it just feels like in general too, everyone's old wounds are coming up, cords are coming up, we're cutting stuff, we're healing things, we're releasing the past, all that shit. And if you guys are curious about how to do that, please let me know in the comments below, because I'm happy to do a video about that kind of stuff. I am all about letting go of the past and releasing, because it can be intense, but it can be really helpful a lot of the time. And I really don't believe that our old stories define who we are. And that at a certain point, dare I say it, we can use the KonMari method from Marie Kondo and do this exact same thing that she does with our experiences, is to thank them for what they've taught us, the experiences we've had, what they've given us, how they've enriched our experience, our worldview, how they've seasoned us, how they've made us into people who have experiences. Even if they're difficult, they still taught you something. There's still some aspect where you learned a lesson about survival or trusting yourself or loving yourself or something, and you can thank it for what it's taught you and then let it go and say, this is no longer my story. And I feel like this has been happening for a lot of people, because this has come up in a lot of my personal readings too, where it's like you can let go of those old patterns and say, you are no longer coming with me moving forward. You are not a part of my life. I am leaving you behind. And you are in the past and you are staying there. So even when it comes to your old relationship patterns, they do not have to inform you moving forward. They don't have to form all of your relationships moving forward. You can choose to end that cycle. You can choose to end that pattern. So I feel like that could be this. But no pressure. Sorry, I know it's like kind of intense. But for those of you where you have some big ones where you're like, why do I always date the wrong person? Why do I always get this job where I'm miserable? Why do I always? Don't even say that anymore. I used to. I did. I don't anymore. Now I'm looking for this. Now in a partner, I'm looking for this. In a workplace, I'm looking for this. It really does make a difference, because you are telling the universe what you want and what you want in your life. So those old things, those old patterns, those old thought patterns, those old romantic relationships, all that crap, leave that shit behind. It doesn't have to come with you moving forward. Because, well, yeah, where you are right now, you're dropping some burdens. This is also what's influencing you right now. So you're getting rid of some shit. Like, seriously, you're dropping some stuff. And if you're not sure what it is, it's usually things that belong to other people that's not necessarily yours. So I think it's worth considering, what are you carrying? What do you want to carry with you moving forward? Yes, I will bring this up again. In Marie Kondo, she talks about sort of that you're creating a new life once you're done tidying your house. So I see it the same way, in an emotional way. What is it you want in your life moving forward? What makes the cut and what doesn't? So the good news is, for some of you, what you're working on or toward, which is where some of you are feeling as well, was the Queen of Wands. Now, this is also your, it's a fire energy. It's about action and communication. It could be an actual fire sign that you're dealing with, Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. But it can also be a creative aspect of yourself. So for those of you who aren't feeling it, I would say you might need to tap into that fire energy a little bit more. Maybe do some meditations on your second or sacral chakra, which is below your belly button. The color's orange. It's all about creativity and getting that creative juices flowing. And for some of you, it could also be about stability and security. Let me pull another card on that one. So somehow, so you can see how this choose your own adventure in a way. This is Gemini. And so, Gemini aspect, but it's the Lovers and the Six of Cups. So for those of you who, there are a couple messages in here. It could be that it has to do with a relationship. The relationship can be happy. Sometimes the Lovers, I often see it as like, because it's Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, so things may seem perfect right away, but then the longer you're there, are things really what they seem? What do you really know about this person? What do you know about this relationship? What about the aspects of them you're seeing? That sort of thing. Is there a decision that needs to be made about whether or not you want to stay in that, or just a decision in general? Now, the Six of Cups relates to past childhood. So, with the Queen of Wands, I would say with these two, it can also be about using past experiences in your creative aspects, if you're not already. Some of you might be already doing that. But, what I'm hearing is you do what you want. So if you want to use that, you can. Yeah, it really feels like relationships, past experiences. If you want to use that for creative fodder, that's your prerogative. And if you hadn't thought of that, or you were kind of not sure, this is your sign from the universe to use it. And you don't have to, share it with people if you don't feel comfortable. But you can even just create it for yourself and see what you think. Show it to a couple people, see what they think. It is not something that you necessarily have to put right out there. You can take this in baby steps. So once again, something influencing you, dropping burdens, good for you. In the future position, though, you've got the Hermit in reverse. This is also the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. So with that, I would take it as, okay. So I'll take that as the Hermit because you've got that followed up by the Queen of Pentacles. So this means that you're going to have, I'll do this in order. You're going to come out of a period of hiding, like hibernation. So you're like a bear coming out of the cave. You're beginning to stir. You're coming out, which also makes sense because February 1st and 2nd are the European pagan holidays of Imbolc. And that's about the time, it's the midpoint of winter, because it's 6 weeks after the winter solstice, 6 weeks before the vernal equinox, also known as Ostara. And it is when life starts to shoot through the snow, when lambs start being born, the days are getting a little bit longer. It's that sign, that reminder, we're going to survive the winter, especially in times when people had limited food supply and they had to stock up before wintertime. And then around Imbolc, they're like, can we eat anything yet? Probably not. Dairy and fish and root vegetables. Cool. Because it wasn't until about a couple months later that they could start eating things that are growing out of the ground again. But it's still, I always see that though as life is stirring beneath the soil. So it's still snow, it's still winter, but life is starting to make its comeback. And I feel like that's the case for you in this coming out of the hermit mode. You're starting to stir, starting to wake up. Now, Queen of Pentacles means that you're leading toward building a strong foundation for yourself. This can also mean coming into money, financial prosperity, having beautiful things around you. So even if you aren't feeling as financially stable as you like, I would say it's still about decorating your home in such a way that it feels beautiful and bountiful. A way that feels comfortable, secure, safe, and positive for you. So just to recap, there's an ending going on right now and a awakening you might be resisting because of a past lack of triumph, something that didn't happen the way you wanted. You're kind of navigating through your emotions and what's going on with yourself right now, but you're doing it splendidly, even if it doesn't always seem easy. You're looking for new opportunities where you want to go. You're focusing on building something new for yourself, and then you're having a transformation and change, possibly a rest period that has to do with getting over feelings of defensiveness. You have an opportunity, if you choose, to tap into your creative aspects in relation to something from your past, possibly a relationship, an aspect of your past. Romantic, family, friend, whatever, imaginary friend. You're also dropping a burden, getting rid of some of the stuff from the past, coming out of hermit mode, and moving into financial security, abundance, and beauty. And I'm hearing wealth. It's awesome. Okay, well that is your reading for the month of February, and I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you again next month.